Hello, I'm Angela Gill with the Major Hospital Foundation, and welcome to episode 11 of the Major Build. We're filming today's episode on Friday, March 4th, 2016. With me today is Dan Van Gundy. Dan is the Director of Information Technology for Major Health Partners. We're starting today's episode in the brand new data center for MHP. But before we talk about this, let's move over to the medical center in a patient room and see where this all begins right at the patient bedside. Now Dan and I have come over to the med center and we're in a patient room. Dan, show us how all this is going to work.
Okay, Angela. In a previous episode, you had Messer's people explain what these conduits were for. Blue is primarily going to be data. That's what our network's going to run on. So there'll be wires that will be pulled into these boxes from different data closets within the med center here. A caregiver, when they come up to the bedside, will either have a computer that's wall mounted here, or they'll have a wireless device that they'll roll over from the other side of the room to do patient care. Some of these boxes will house things like heart rate monitors, fetal monitors, and other devices that need to sit on our network as well.
Okay, very good. We've moved across from the head of the bed down here to the other side of the room at the foot of the bed. Tell me what this is for, Dan. I see some more of that blue cable sticking out here.
Yeah, Angela, there will be a 55-inch flat screen mounted at the foot wall of all of the beds. This blue cable, again, is the data cable. That will plug into the back of the TV, making it essentially a smart TV, and that will offer patients and families who will be in this room opportunities to access the internet and their Netflix accounts and things like that that they may wish to do while they're here.
Okay, and it's my understanding that they'll be able to maybe show patients their x-rays and so on up here?
Yes, they will. They will be able to connect the computer system that the physician is using to this TV to be able to show x-rays or their blood draw results or whatever they may wish to show the patient.
Okay, so it's really nice. It's not just for fun, it's for medical reasons too.
Absolutely.
Not many hospitals are installing a 55-inch flat screen TV in every patient room, but it's just another example of how we've gone above and beyond with technology to care for our patients. This isn't just for fun for our patients, but it's a way to help them become more involved and more intrigued by their own care. Now there's something else pretty special going on right here. This looks like a hole in the wall right now, but tell us what's going to happen there, Dan.
Right, so ultimately there will be an electrical outlet here. There's no blue cable there, there's no data, but it'll be electrical. But in that electrical outlet will also be built-in USB charger ports so that family members who need to spend the night in the room have access to that to be able to charge cell phones and laptops and things like that.
Okay, that's great. We've left the patient room and moved on to what is called a data closet. There sure is a lot going on in here, Dan. Tell us about that.
Yes, there is. Okay, Angela, this is the data closet located near the cafeteria in the building. We're on the first floor. This data closet will serve about the western third of the first floor. There's roughly 800 of these blue wires coming into this room, and each one of these wires run back to a box that we talked about in the patient room where the blue pipe comes down the wall. Okay, so these wires will all be brought into this room, and they will be terminated into the back of these patch panels.
Okay.
There will be a plug on the front of these patch panels that we will take a cable to and move it over here to a piece of switchgear that we have in this rack. And that is what makes the real connection to the patient room so that they can talk to the data center as they do their patient care.
They do their care. Okay, that's amazing. Now, how many closets do we have like this?
There are 10 scattered across all four floors.
Throughout the building.
Yes.
And they all are about like this?
They will all have a lot of this wire running in them. This is one of the larger closets. Some of the closets upstairs have maybe half of what's coming into this room. Okay, Angela, let me tell you a little bit about some of these switches that are going to be installed in this rack over here. They will all be interconnected throughout the building on all floors with a fiber backbone network. So that allows all of these switches to pass data back and forth between each other as well as talk to the data center. We will have a fiber coming in the building down in the basement that will come off of the IntelliPlex drive, and that will then lead back to the data center for the final connection there.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty neat. Now, something that I've been wondering about, why didn't we put the data center inside the hospital? It's remote, it's a quarter mile away.
Right. The primary reason was we have a fiber network inside IntelliPlex that allows us to be just down the street, where if there happens to be an event in this building, the data center would not be involved in that. But it also allows us then to talk to the data center via a fiber network that allows very quick data transitions back and forth, so that the user, when they type in a keystroke, within a half a millisecond, they will have their data back to them. So it doesn't really matter where the data center is located.
Yeah, nobody's ever going to know that they're not pulling data from right there beside them.
Right. They would not know that it's not located in the basement or up on the roof. Either
So
one.
we haven't sacrificed any speed or any efficiency, and we've gained in security.
Absolutely. And in fact, this new network that we have is going to be much, much faster than the existing network at the old facility downtown. That facility has 100 megabit per second connections at the desktop. When we move here, we'll have 1 gigabit per second connections at the desktop. So let me put that into perspective for you. I talked to our radiology people today. They said a standard MRI is somewhere around a gig today. So that gig at our current speeds at downtown would take about 7 minutes to download to your desktop.
That's a little time.
Yeah, when we move here, that will happen within a few seconds, like less than 10 probably.
That's great.
So
and
it makes a big difference.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. That makes a difference in how quickly you can work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, how quickly you can take care of the patient.
Yes.
Time is of the essence sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Okay, Angela, when we were in the data closet over at the hospital, I mentioned to you that the new hospital will be fed with fiber optic runs from the data center.
I remember.
This is a manhole that's in IntelliPlex, and it's an example of the underground fiber optic system that feeds the entire area here. This will allow us to have dual feeds into the data center, so that in the event that one side gets cut, the data then will route the other direction out the other feed that we have, so that the hospital will never be without data connection.
That's what I was going to ask you. The data will never go down. It's always going to be available.
Yes.
24 hours a day. Now we've come back over to the data center. This is a really interesting room. There's an awful lot going on in here. What's this? Explain this to us, Dan.
Okay, Angela, remember we were outside a minute ago and I talked about how fiber comes into the data center to feed the new hospital.
Right.
So that fiber comes into the data center and is run in these yellow work trays that you see up here. Those trays then lead to the top of these cabinets, where the fiber comes in and gets terminated to a switch. That switch then is used to talk to servers and storage located in other cabinets in this room. So when the caregiver is at the bedside and they do keystrokes on their computer, that data transmits over here to these cabinets, talks to applications running on servers. If there's data needed, data extraction needed, it pulls it from storage inside this room to the server, where it is then transmitted back to the user at the bedside, all done in milliseconds.
So, could you say that this room is kind of like, this is a really simple way to say it, but could you say this room is kind of like a giant computer where all the medical records, all the data is stored for the medical center?
That's breaking it down to pretty simple
Really
terms,
simple
but yes,
terms.
you could actually say that this is one big computer.
One big computer. It's not, but it's a good analogy.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a single strand of fiber. It is a piece of glass that's about the size of a human hair.
It's really tiny.
They transmit data down this strand of glass using light pulses generated by a laser. So it's pretty high tech, and data moves at the speed of light while it's transmitted down the glass. So it's really, really fast, and we can move a lot of data in a short amount of time.
So that's not what I thought it was. I thought it was a tube, and data somehow rolled down that tube.
It's very common.
That's-
People think that it's a tube
Yeah.
and the data bounces around inside of it.
Yeah,
It actually is a
it's
solid
not the
strand of
yeah,
glass.
that's not the case at all. That's amazing.
Right.
And this is important because with this kind of technology behind our healthcare providers, we can provide care literally at the speed of light. Well, let's talk about the design of the room. I've never seen anything that looks quite like this.
Okay, Angela, there was a lot of thought put into the design of this data center. We wanted it to be able to withstand high winds in case there was a tornado event in the area. So the walls have been reinforced so that projectiles, air-blown projectiles, cannot penetrate into this room. One of the other features that you will see in this room are these white cabinets. So the latest technology on cabinets have moved these cabinets from black to white. And they did that because when you get into the back of the cabinet, which we have shots of, the workers can then see things better in the back of those cabinets when it's white because the light's bouncing around inside. We also have a standby generator on the side of the building that will supply power to this room in case there's an outage of electricity.
So all kinds of thinking's gone into this, just real practical things like being able to see what you're doing, along with really high levels of security to protect that information that is stored here. Saving lives is serious business. That's why here at Major Health Partners we've made an incredible investment in information technology. That's how we provide world-class, state-of-the-art, quality health care here close to home. A state-of-the-art healthcare facility is necessary for Shelby County to remain a vibrant community. The new MHP Medical Center will meet this need and position Shelby County as a great place to live, work, and play. All of us at MHP are committed to the better health and prosperity of our community. We hope you share our enthusiasm and support for this exciting Shelby County opportunity. If you would like to partner with us in this worthwhile project, call me at the Major Hospital Foundation, 317-421-0361. Thanks, and until next time, take comfort in knowing that the promise of your healthy future is being built today at the new MHP Medical Center.